Hello. In this week's Torah portion, Bamidbar, we read, quote, "Now these are the descendants of Aaron and Moses in the day that the Lord spoke with Moses at Mount Sinai." Unquote. Note that the name of Aaron appears before the name of Moses, which is unusual in the Torah. The Midrash tells us that this teaches us that both men were of equal importance. Note also that the Torah says, "Now these are the descendants of Aaron and Moses," but then continues, "and these are the names of the sons of Aaron," and the descendants of Moses are not mentioned. Why? The Talmud says that Aaron's descendants are also considered to be Moses' descendants, because Moses taught them Torah. And whoever teaches Torah to others, Scripture regards him as if these others were his own children. Torah study is central to Judaism. Rabbi Meir, a prominent Talmudic sage, said, quote, "A learned bastard takes precedence over an ignorant high priest," unquote. The Talmud adds that Torah study can be considered the most important commandment. Quote, "The fruits of these are enjoyed in this world, while the principle remains in the world to come. Honoring father and mother, practicing deeds of loving kindness, attending school morning and evening, being hospitable to guests, visiting the sick, dowering the bride, attending the dead to the grave, being devoted to prayer, and making peace between people. And the study of Torah is equivalent to them all. V'talmud Torah keneged kulam." This is because, as Rabbi Akiva said, study leads to action. Thus, study has priority over practice. Maimonides, the great 12th century sage, collected the laws of Torah study in his monumental Mishneh Torah, in the section called the Book of Knowledge, Sefer Hamada. Let us review some of them together. First, a man has a duty to teach his son and even his grandson, as the Torah says, quote, "Make the commandments known to your children and to your children's children." Moreover, every Torah scholar must teach all those who want to learn from him. Parents should teach children the written Torah as soon as they begin to talk, but starting at the age of 6 or 7, it is best to take the child to a teacher. If the teacher wants to be paid, the parents should pay him. It is forbidden, however, to charge a fee for teaching the oral law, because the Torah states, quote, "Moses said to Israel, 'Behold, I have taught you laws and rules as the Lord my God has commanded me,'" unquote. In other words, Moses said, "Just as I received instruction from God freely, you have received instruction from me freely. And you too, when teaching future generations, give instruction freely as you have learned from me." If, however, the teacher insists on getting paid anyway, the parents must pay him. As the book of Proverbs says, quote, "Buy truth," unquote. When the student himself becomes a teacher, is he then allowed to charge others on the grounds that he himself was charged? No, because the proverb continues, quote, "Buy truth, but do not sell it," unquote. Every Jew is required to study Torah, whether he is poor or rich, ill or healthy, old or young, busy or free. The book of Joshua says, quote, "You shall study the Torah day and night," unquote. In fact, the greatest sages of the Talmud had ordinary professions, such as wood cutting or water carrying or baking, and some were blind or otherwise handicapped. It did not prevent them from teaching without remuneration. If a town does not have teachers for their young children, it must be placed under a ban, because the Talmud says, quote, "The world is maintained only by the breath of school children," unquote. Each teacher should have no more than 25 students. If he has 40, an assistant should help him. If more than 40, a second teacher must be appointed. The Rambam adds that anyone who studies Torah all the time and does not work, preferring to live on charity, profanes the name of God, disgraces the Torah, obscures the light of religion, causes harm to himself, and deprives himself of life in the world to come. As Rabban Gamliel said in Pirkei Avot, quote, any study of Torah that is not accompanied by a trade must fail in the end and become the cause of sin, unquote. Anyone who supports himself by the work of his hands is virtuous and will be happy in both this world and the next. As the psalmist said, quote, when you eat the fruit of the labor of your hands, you shall be happy, and it shall be well with you, unquote. You shall be happy means in this world, and it shall be well with you means in the world to come. If the students don't understand, the teacher must not be angry with them, but should review the lesson with them until they understand it. A student, on the other hand, must not say, I understand, when he does not, but should keep on asking questions. You must honor and revere your teacher even more than your parents, because your parents have secured for you life in this world, while the teacher secures for you life in the world to come. Thus, the Talmud says, quote, the reverence for your teacher should be like the reverence for heaven, unquote. This works both ways. The Talmud also says, quote, much have I learned from my teachers and more from my colleagues, but most of all from my students. Happy learning and Shabbat Shalom.